Welcome to Soul Bar, a subset of Soul Spa University and a beautiful new addition, the official lounge for metaphysicians. Here at Soul Bar, we are teachers and students on the spiritual journey. Some of us are, but not limited to, psychologists, astrologists, psychics, life coaches, tarot card readers, business people, and much more. And here is where we get to congregate, relax, and have a soul teeny or sober teeny and take a break for some fun on our spiritual journeys. My soul felt it would be healing for some to partake in the energy of embracing where our humanity and spirituality meets with fun, light, laughter, humor, and love. My disclaimer is for any existing or aspiring clients, this is not what you get in the session, where that is more of the Holy Spirit, higher self, divine source of wisdom coming through, although that may also come through many of us here, regardless, as this is also a Course in Miracles support group. We're going to take this rare opportunity to embrace the music called life that happens between our human selves and our higher selves as we relax, reflect, learn, and enjoy the journey. It is my hope that you guys and listeners have fun, find relief, and realize that we are all imperfectly, perfectly magical, no matter where we are in life, as we help to break the third wall and expose the fun and magic behind the scenes. On this episode of What the Did We Sign Up For? Normally, we have Sony here to give us an astrology update. Also, guys, unmute yourselves. I feel like a ghost. This must be how ghosts feel. Just so you know, guys, they were laughing, so I feel much better now. Usually Sony's here to give an astrology update because I don't know about you guys, but just like last month when I did this, I'm surprised I'm alive right now. Catherine, I know you've been going through it. Erica, thank God you've been on vacation. I hope it was a good one. I recently learned research has come to me that women in particular should be resting at least 2 weeks out of the month more than usual. And of course, during those times is when I am podcasting like crazy because we make plans and God's like, that's hilarious. You're going to continue doing service. So if we were at all worried about World War III, it's currently happening in my uterus as we speak.
Oh.
Now, Sony, if you're watching, we miss you. We need that astrology update. So hopefully you're here next time. There's been tons of opportunities, as we call it, in A Course in Miracles this month to use the tools we've been given. So here's a funny little update on my life. I sent my partner to the grocery store today to pick up some groceries. I go to unpackage and I unpack a box of raisins and a Heineken. One Heineken.
One.
So, and I'm thinking I asked for dog food. But not only was it Heineken instead of dog food, it was one. And I'm thinking at least get two. That's all I'm saying. At least.
Yeah.
So
but that one was for you, Christina.
Oh, the Heineken. I should have assumed such things.
Yeah.
I should do the wrong thing as ACIM would teach and expect that this is mine.
Yeah.
So what was the explanation of the raisins and the one Heineken? Did we have one?
Oh, apparently he left the dog food in the car, which is the one thing I asked him to go get.
But he got it.
He got the one Heineken.
The important things at 8 a.m. Yes.
Yeah.
He was thinking about your happy hour today.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
bringing you a happy hour drink.
And he knew it was 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah, I should have been like, thanks for my early Easter gift for my happy. Oh man,
that's a cute story.
Yeah, it happened today. I have a couple of profound things. Oh, Erica, I know you listen to David Hoffmeister, right? David Hoffmeister.
Mm-hmm.
So here's something weird about that. You know David Hoffmeister, right, Catherine?
Yep.
So here's something super weird. He happens to look identical to one of my exes. The funny part is that he looks identical to the ex that was the most gangster, violent, rapperish man. That
Really?
like
Really?
restraining order status man. Like ever. So I've been trying to ignore it. I used to go to sleep listening to David Hoffmeister because he's so calming and stuff, but identical, same voice, same like interests. Like he likes to teach through movies, and that ex was just obsessed.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with music. Like they have this. I'm like alternate reality ex gangster boyfriend right there.
Wow.
It's and you know, if things were different in my boyfriend's life, ex-boyfriend's life, God bless him, but you know, that he would have been on a spiritual kind of, because he was interested in The Secret, he was interested in law of attraction. This was like 18 years ago, you know, and he was very, very, like that would have been his path. Like maybe those are his exact genes, you know what I mean? Like in that man, it's just the weirdest thing.
Well, speaking of YouTubers, well, he's not really a YouTuber, but he has a YouTube channel. Did you look up Lorna Byrne at all?
Oh, is she the angel lady?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
What
have.
is her name, Erica?
Lorna Byrne. She's really good.
Could you put her name in the chat for us?
Sure.
Yeah, I have to look her up.
Now, thank you. Does she do angel readings, or is she
No,
intuitively in touch with them,
yeah,
or
yeah, she can physically see them.
oh, that's
Um,
wonderful.
and I really like her vibe and her energy. So, um, she seems to be a very kind, gentle soul. So,
Oh, thank you. I will definitely look her up.
I love that. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, I've never been back to that particular ACIM group, um, and I've never been the same since, to be honest. Like, it's never the same. I'm still working through it. It's not as bad as it was, but just to give you guys a little profound angel insight, which is what I used to do all the time for people, but since then I'm still trying to acclimate. But I think things happen to me to tell you, you know, or whoever's listening. Last night, I had a dream that I was just a mess. I just couldn't find anything in my car. Like I can get into more of the dream, but it doesn't matter. It was just like I was in a world where my life was a mess. I know it sounds similar to now, but even worse, even crazier. So like I remember, I don't know how much time passed me just looking for my keys in my car. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out of the situation I was in because I couldn't find the keys to start my car. And I kept looking and looking. Finally, it was as if I was drunk in the dream, but I wasn't. Like I was just, you know. Now, this is interesting because this is very metaphorical for our real lives that are our dream, that it's almost like we're drunk until we connect in and to Holy Spirit, to the higher consciousness, the higher mind, like to Jesus. So, and guys, Jewish people are welcome. Everyone's welcome in this. This is not like Christians only. This, A Course in Miracles is open to everybody. But so what I always used to do was, even in quote unquote real life, um, I used to always go to the angels when I couldn't find something. Angels, where's this? And I'd always be guided. That's where it is, right? And then, since A Course in Miracles, I asked God or Jesus directly, and it was right there. It's literally like within as soon as I ask, it's there. So even in the dream, I finally resorted, and I was like, where? All right. Like I almost gave up and was so tired. And I was like, all right, angels, where are the keys? And I got guided between the seat and the center console. I found them, and I was like, oh, and I had chills, and I was like, do I start the car and leave, or do I talk to the angels? Do I process this? You know? But I just think it's so amazing because even in your dreams, they could help you. And supposedly we're all right now, according to A Course in Miracles, you know? So it's so interesting. You know what I mean? Like right now we're in a dream, and that's what can help us. I mean,
Mm.
I'm calling it angels, whatever you guys want to call. You know, if you guys don't call it angels, it's fine. But you know what I mean? But it's just so amazing. Like, you know, I just thought it was so metaphorical for what we're going through, because it's true. Whenever I can't find something, and like whenever we're in a mental state of just trying to figure it out mentally, like trying to wrestle our shadow mentally or whatever,
Mm.
you know, And then it's like all we have to do is go in and go up, and there it is. Or ask the angels, and there it is. It's like we always want to figure it out ourselves, like little infants trying to build that castle. And then it's like an adult, whenever you ask, can just come down and just help you. Like,
Yeah, and the course tells us all the time, stop trying to figure it out yourself.
yeah,
We
Right.
need help. We need help from Holy Spirit, the angels, the light workers, whoever is out there that is, working with us. And I believe there are many, 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 many beings, creatures, off planet technology, whatever, that are all working with us, for us, especially in this time on this crazy planet that we have kind of conjured up. I have a hard time with that one. I figure, you see those glasses back there? I must have drank 2 drinks as big as that to want to conjure up an earth like this.
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah, it's really crazy. But I think that all the helpers that are out there, I think there are so many different forms that come to help us. And many times we don't even recognize them. I thought there was a great, great story that, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your podcast with Mark Vandergag.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was wonderful. That was so great. And I was happy to watch it live, which is always fun to do that. But he told a great story about some angels, the story on the beach with the surfers. I had never heard that story before, and that was wonderful. But it just shows you that you don't know, it's like putting an extra plate on the table on a holiday for anybody who shows up at the door. And I think that's a Jewish tradition, if I'm not mistaken, that they do that at Passover in case
Mm,
the Messiah comes or a
Mhm.
prophet comes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is a Jewish tradition.
Mhm.
And I've always thought it was very beautiful. You put that extra plate there and welcome whoever may come to sojourn, because if someone comes to join you, it's usually an angel or someone that's there to help you.
oh my God. Well, thank God you said that, because I now have Jewish relatives, and I would have sat down thinking it was for me. So thank you.
It probably was, because you're an angel too, So we
Well, and you
all
know
we
that,
all have our purposes to other
yeah.
people. Other people may see you as angelic in their lives. I see you as angelic in my life. So, I mean, we come to each other not by accident. We know
Right.
that is true. Like the three of us have been, kind of thrust together. I'm not sure for what, but for one thing, we do make each other feel very loved and very connected.
Mhm.
Love it. Yes. Oh, yes.
You
Yeah.
can feel the connection. I'm hoping the audience can feel that. Like it's, like none of us folks have ever met except on these little squares like the Brady Bunch.
Right,
I can
right.
sit here.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm not Marsha.
Yeah.
And yet I feel closer to you guys than people I've seen in person a lot.
hmm Yep, it's the
Yeah.
truth. It's like I have my online Zoom family.
Well,
Yeah.
and it helps to connect on like a spiritual and support one another, as we go through challenges in life.
Yeah.
But Christina, the other thing is that, and Catherine pointed this out as well. Um, Catherine, in fact, I think that we had pointed Christina back to some of the places in the textbook that discusses about angels,
Mhm.
um, and them being relevant in our lives, right? So, um, I don't know if you've had a chance to really research any of those, but it lists it several different times throughout the text. So,
Yeah.
um, it's a
Oh,
little confusing to me, about discussing the fact that they're not really.
yeah. Yeah. And just so the audience knows, right? Um, Hi audience. If anyone's listening, welcome. um, so I wasn't going to say this, but it's fine. I think it's meant to be said in case anyone else is in A Course in Miracles and in my position, you know? So, you know, I really wasn't going to say this because I really want to push the truth out there and I don't want to confuse anybody in case they're new to angels. But what happened was I've been all about angels and people that have passed on for a very long time. And that's sort of what I do in life for people is make sure they know it's a that connection continues after the person has passed. There is no death. And I was kind of born doing that because I was trying to tell my mom that after my dad passed when I was like 6. And that I was made to feel guilty right away from an aunt that told me I was making her cry. Anyway, so, but the point is, and that's the last thing you want to do because like I'm trying to make her feel better. My mom, you know, it's like, oh my God. But anyway, so it's been a very, when I found when the angels, when I want to say when the angels found me again, but when I woke up, I went through, like many of us, a lot in life where I had to go in and really, I started connecting in a way. I don't really know when it began, and I'm not going to make the whole podcast about that, but basically, I had to utilize and realize tools really early on to survive emotionally. And I wanted to pass that on to people because once I realized the angel contact was legit, not just in my mind, but legit. Um, it was so magical and so divine. It was the realest experiences I've ever felt in my life. So I want to connect people to that divinity. And so that's what I've been doing ever since, connecting people to angels, connecting people that those who've passed on. And Course in Miracles found me, and it's felt like home because half the time I'm helping my clients. It's not me; it's higher wisdom. It could be angels. It could be higher self. It could be God. And anything I ever channeled, I don't even want to use that word, but you know, it's like everything I ever knew, everything that was true to me was in A Course in Miracles. It resonated so deep in my bones. In a recent, now I'm in a class almost daily or more with A Course in Miracles, and one recent one a few weeks ago let me know that this is all an illusion, which resonates fine with me. But then what I'm having trouble resonating with, which I'm surprised and embarrassed about, is that they tried telling me even angels and people that have passed on, all of that's an illusion. We're all an illusion. Our separateness is an illusion. And it was the closest thing I've had to a breakdown in a while. And thank God Catherine was there that day with me on the phone. She saved me in a way. A lot happened that to bring the audience's spirits up, I'll let them know angel contact did happen that day as well, which was very synchronistic. Basically, that night prior to that experience, I dreamt of an aunt who in real life was not nice to me. She had custody of me for about a year and a half after my parents died. And she wasn't nice, so she didn't have custody for very long, but I was always sweet to her. I always loved her. And she had a ballroom. She was all about dancing. I'm letting you know this for a reason. After she passed, unmute yourself in case I want to feel like you're here. Okay, so after she passed, there was one angel instant which was interesting, where I stopped at a DSW on the way home that I would never stop at. I would never just stop at a DSW in Connecticut at like, 9 at night when they're about to close, but I was looking for shoes for a wedding. I was the only one in the store, or so I thought. There was one other person. We both got led to the clearance section. Lo and behold, it's my singing teacher from when I lived in Newtown, Connecticut, and was in the custody of my aunt. And she was always a tough cookie. Like, I loved her, but she was a tough cookie, and I just loved her. And she started crying. And she said, I need you to know it's not your fault, right? So I was like, what? And she's like, I used to cry every night when I went home to my mom, that how horribly that lady treated you. And you need to know that it's not your fault. It was never your fault. It was now I was trying not to cry. And knowing the divine truth of people, even before A Course in Miracles, I was like, oh, she's fine. Let her, she didn't mean it. She just rest in peace. And she wouldn't hear any of that. She was like, it's not your fault. Like she was like crying. You need to know it's not your fault. Now, in that moment, not only was she an angel, part of me wondered if my aunt that passed on sent her to tell me, right? So, bring to present day, right before I went to that ACIM group that told me angels and whatever are part of the illusion, and they're fine. I love them. They didn't mean any harm, but I woke up crying from a dream I had of that same aunt who told me, you should have been more. You know what I mean? And so I woke up crying. And now here's what's weird. I was scrolling through my phone for pictures of Charleston because someone told me I need to have a picture of Charleston on my wall in order to move there. So I was scrolling through pictures that are under $25, hoping I could afford a freaking picture one day of Charleston. Scrolling through Google. All of a sudden, there's a picture. Now it's all of Charleston. Every one of these pictures, I must have scrolled through a million pictures, all of Charleston. One stood out to me. It wasn't Charleston. It was a zoomed in picture of a little blonde girl. When I was little and blonde, with a zoomed in like lyrics around her of the song I Hope You Dance, which was my aunt's way of saying hi after she died. Now it gets even crazier. It's zoomed in on like not the whole song. It's only zoomed in on like two sentences of the song, which I could pull up the picture on the thing now. But basically it was something about, I kept rereading it because I was like, faith, it was talking about faith, and I never knew the songs mentioned faith. Every time that song comes on the radio, I let it play so I could heal and cry and say thank you for connecting with me, and sometimes I don't feel like it, but then I'm like, all right, let it happen, let it happen. But I'm like, I don't remember this exact lyric about faith. And I just kept looking at that one line like as if, is this a Mandela effect? Like, what is this, right? Like, so what's weird is that then the ACIM group happened where my whole world shattered. I don't know what's real anymore. Did I hallucinate my mom? Did I hallucinate all these angel times? Did I hallucinate everything I am here for? Is it, I'm like, am I not sane? Right? My partner, who is, if any of you know, he's very down to earth, very not the spiritual type. He's very, as one would call, normal. If you could imagine the opposite of me. But yet, when I was having this breakdown, he's trying to say whatever he can do to help, which is, for someone who's like what we feel is master's degree in spirituality, and he comes in at like nursery level, like it'll be okay, and it's like, okay, I'm not, pass me the wine. I might not be sane anymore. I don't know. But he ends up saying something about just have faith. And it just dawned on me. It said something about faith. And I was like, I was shown that this morning. I had shown that this morning from her. It came through now. You know what I mean? It's so weird. I'm going to find this photo for you guys because it was just, so I just, so yeah, we'll continue this angel conversation, but I didn't
Do
want
you
to.
remember what the line was in the song that mentioned faith?
Yeah, I'm going to find it right now because it's such a beautiful picture. But I just, before we continued the angel conversation, I just wanted to make sure the audience knew it's okay. Like, angels are so real. I'm just going through something. I didn't want to worry them that they weren't or something, you know what I mean? But let me see. Or anyone that's wondering. Okay, I think I'm going to get it soon.
Promise me that you'll give Faith a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if I'm going to find
because that's exactly what your significant other was saying to you. Have faith.
Yes.
And that's saying, promise me you'll give it a fighting chance. That's beautiful.
And I have chills because it's like she wasn't there for me in quote unquote real life, but as an angel, she comes through here and there.
Well, she had to pass over to heal.
Yeah, for sure. was it after the doves? I think it was after the doves that happened to me. Oh, sorry to keep you guys.
Of course, that, kind of shows how everything is interconnected, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, once we're open to seeing some of those signs and, then we can start to see how everything just connects, and through messages to us. So,
I've had so many. I'm much older than both of you, so I've had so many just by years on the earth. I've had so many of those experiences. I couldn't even begin. Some of them were so quick, just
Yeah.
something that comes in a flash.
right.
And it's like to go back and remember all of them. I couldn't even do that, but there have been hundreds and thousands of them in my life. I mean, sometimes they're the littlest little thing, like as Christina was saying before, you're looking for something and you can't find it, you can't find it, you can't find it.
Yeah.
And I'll have a great story about that if you want me to tell it while you're doing your research there, Christina.
What's weird? I can't even find that exact picture again, which is so weird. So I started Googling it, and this is the closest to it, but it wasn't this. This is so crazy. I can't even find the damn picture. But anyway, it was kind of like that, but not. Um,
Oh, how sweet.
yeah,
And look how big the word faith is. It's the biggest thing on the page.
exactly. So I always listen when they communicate to me through a song. I always listen to every lyric very intently because each time it hits me differently in my life wherever I am and what they're trying to say. And that was just, I'm telling you, I wasn't seeking out that song. I was seeking out Charleston to forget about the dream with her. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I hung up on this one lyric? And then when I'm going through what felt like a breakdown, he's like, just have faith. And I was like, and she literally said, give faith a fighting chance. It was like, oh my God, it was just crazy. So anyway, go ahead.
What would we do without our faith?
I mean, this was always so real to me. It was my life and blood. This like angel connections, and when they became real to me, like real, like it was always like, oh, maybe this is my head. But then I would know how to communicate with them where they would prove in real life it's real, in ways that only they can. Where I know it's not law of attraction, like they're very synchronistic when they respond. It's always like a blossoming of a flower. It's never one like yes or no. It's always like all these things are answering like all these things at once. And that's what I was here for, to connect people to this divinity, because this has been my most, until you guys, my most real connections in life. So when they told me all the times, it just felt like they were like, every time you spoke to your mom, that was an illusion, she doesn't even exist, like you're just going to pass over. And my partner started laughing. The birds on my balcony right now, the birds on my balcony. Interesting. They just flew onto my balcony. It's raining, by the way. There's no reason for there to be a bird party.
Yeah.
Are
And
they doves?
the balcony's broken.
Are they doves on your balcony?
No, these are smaller, but usually they're doves. These are smaller. They're part red. I've never seen them before. Um,
Oh,
yeah, one just took a little
Like on their breasts, they're red.
what?
On their breasts, they're red.
Yeah, like up here. It's weird. Oh, he just flew away. Angels don't like too much attention. I don't know if we can record them. So, but anyway, so that's why. So then when I'm processing. Me that day, Catherine, I'm processing because my
mhm.
was a history philosophy professor. So my mind is just, my mom was spiritual, but quietly, because she was head dean of Cornell. My dad was a history philosophy professor, very strict, from Europe, and so my mind is confused why I don't get it. Number one, because it likes to go there. It doesn't avoid things. It's not the type that needs to smoke something to talk about it. And it's not the type that's like, oh, this is too much, right? It's not that type. It's like, let's go there. From when I was born, it's like, what do you mean God was always there? Like I had to go there. So the fact that I'm trying to go there and it's killing me is messing me up, you know? And so I'm processing. My partner's like, so wait, so they're just saying that like we die and we're just all part of this one sonship, like that God just absorbs us and we're one thing, right? And he's just funny about everything, and I'm like, yes. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And so from then on, he had a sense of humor. He's like, well, it doesn't matter because none of this exists. Remember, you don't exist, I don't exist, none of this exists. I was like, but like it anyway. So I don't freaking know. I it was my life and blood, you know, of life. And like ever since they said that, I'm just trying to understand because I know there's truth in everything, and I know they didn't mean harm, but I'm just confused. Um, you know, at one point though, when I connected, I go for walks in a forest a lot, as much as I can. And I one of my friends told me once that she spoke to a tree. So one time I was going through something a while ago and I just touched this tree. Like there's a part where the tree is like it's the bark, like part of it was off and it you could touch almost like a like it's like more the tree than the bark because the bark was off in that part, like the outer bark. So I always touch in that one spot, and I started getting, it was like energy, but I could convert it to messages, like the blossoming of a flower. So ever since then, I always went to that tree, and I feel like different energies in each of the trees. Like one is like someone I really love here on Earth, but she I love her so much, but she's just not. Her higher self is cooler than her real self. You know what I mean? And this one tree, if I'll do one with the right hand, I'll do one with the left. And anyway, the tree, so now I make fun of myself. I'm like, you know what the tree told me today? But the tree told me at one point, it showed me when I was going through this. One of the things they showed me is you've been through a lot of life to have known what you know, and it always shows me a very innocent perception of people because everything is pure. And it's trying to say, you know, like you're more right than you think too, like it's like they didn't go through as much to realize the realness that you've seen. I don't know, it's hard to explain. The tree always makes me feel better, but like but I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, even the guy that told me this, Erica, was like, he told me he's a medium and that after his dad passed on, his dad threw something across the room when they were fighting. So he's very aware that these things are real, but then he's saying all of this isn't real anyway. And I just needed to know something from them. Like, I just needed to know, okay, I get that, like, if I visually see them, that's just a representation of who they really are, maybe, as a bird just
Well,
flies.
it could also be your perception, right? Because, that's what we see is our perception of the world, right? Um, but we also
They get,
need to let others, I guess, have their own or share their own experiences too,
yeah,
and their viewpoints as well. And just remember that what does it say? The main message in A Course in Miracles. Nothing real. What
Exists.
page is that even on? The main prayer. Catherine, do you know off the top of your head?
Yes, go in the
Oh,
lesson.
here it is. Nothing real can be threatened,
Mhm.
right?
nothing real can be threatened and nothing
Nothing real exists, and herein lies the peace of God.
yep.
Um, and so that was an important message, just
But
to really a reminder, if you will. I'm sorry,
I don't
Catherine, go
want to
ahead.
interrupt you, but the course also tells us that we'll never truly understand it in this realm
Right,
because it's too big for us to understand.
right.
And that if we did understand it, it would make us crazy or
Mm,
something to that effect. I mean, I don't think it uses those words, but it basically says we can't handle even the full feeling of how incredible the love is. We can't handle the full feeling, the full power of it, because we're just not ready. And we couldn't, and in our present form, in this body, in this form where we are right now, it would just completely overwhelm us. And so I think that the more that you talk about your experience that just happened with the angels, the more it reminds me of that teaching from the course. It's like we have the tools that we have because we need them in order for understanding. And I do believe that we're sent helpers. Because we need helpers. We need helpers to understand, because we can't do it. We can't do it. We're just not evolved enough. I don't know if that's quite the right word, but we don't have the capacity to understand it in its fullness. Imagine what that would be like to feel complete, utter peace and love.
Oh my God, guess who's here?
I'm sorry?
Guess who's here?
Who?
Oh my God. Now you
Oh, it's Tony.
Did you guys think I started hallucinating? Like,
It's Tony.
Oh, stop
Yay.
doing that. It hurts.
All right.
Hurts. You
Yay.
want to walk. Here, show your head. Show your head. Yeah.
Hey,
Hi,
Sony.
Sony.
hey,
No, I'm not taking you for a walk. No. 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 No.
yellow shirt.
I got my yellow shirt on. I got clients day. Yeah.
I love
Very
it.
nice.
Been busy since 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, oh, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you guys. And Catherine's already drinking, for God's sakes. All right. Only 2 in the afternoon.
I think that's actually water in her hand, but I think behind her is another story.
This is true.
Oh, well, it could be
That's
Would
the
be
that's the
great
joint
vodka, which is
state.
my drink of choice, but I'm not doing that
Pepsi.
today.
It's too early. It's too early, and I gotta go. I'm out of scotch almost. Okay. So what's up?
Tony, I was just telling them before how I sent my partner to the grocery store to get dog food, and he came back with a box of raisins and a Heineken. One Heineken bottle, by the way. So that was interesting at 8 a.m. So I was like, that's weird. I asked for dog food. So yeah, isn't that fun?
How did he miss the, what was the
No,
race?
he got the dog food. It was just in the car.
He forgot it in the car.
He did get the dog food.
Yeah, he did. It's in the car.
What were the raisins for?
Him, I guess.
Not the dog, I hope.
Yeah, truly,
Well,
truly.
I've never had raisins with my Heineken. I mean, it's just something new, but
Oh man, Muffin, can you show us you're alive? Hello? This is Muffin, by the way. Muffin, hello?
It looks like a blanket, Christina.
Oh damn.
Oh, okay, it moved.
I really hope
It moved.
is it in a pink? Oh, it's in a pink jacket.
There we go. Okay.
Oh,
enough yet for you to pass on, Muffin. Oh, thank God. Okay, good.
and my
Oh,
daughter
very,
has little dogs. Yeah,
very
It's
cute.
so cute.
yeah. Well,
It's like, why did you wake me, Mom?
yeah.
Oh,
Phil's 107 pounds.
the Easter display. That's how my partner is. He likes the big dogs too.
Wait, we need to see him too.
No, put that down. I don't want to talk.
Now she poses after. Oh my-
Tony, is it pouring rain there?
Huh?
Is it pouring rain there?
It was up until just about an hour ago.
It's still pouring here.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's our uncried tears, metaphysics.
but we really needed that here because there was a lot of fires going on in the Shenandoah Valley, over in that up in Maryland. So there was a lot, and I don't have any sense of smell, so I can't smell it. But some of my friends were telling me they could actually smell the smoke here, and the ashes were coming down.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean that's fires like that we don't get very often. That's rare for around here. Yeah.
Wow.
It's California. Yeah.
Tony, you going to give us our energy update?
Yeah.
How's the energies?
Have you guys? Have any of you guys read the book? Seen the movie Don Juan DeMarco?
Yeah.
I've heard it a long time ago.
I strongly suggest that not only do you see it again, but that you actually buy it. Okay, so you can play it more than one time. It's one of the most. Somebody turned me on to it about 5 years ago, and I think I've watched it 4 or 5 times now. And there are so many metaphysical aspects to this movie. If you carefully watch it and you're curious, it has all the answers to the lessons we're all trying to learn.
Oh,
Is this the one with Marlon Brando?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Marlon Brando and Johnny Depp, 2 of the finest actors ever around.
mm-hmm.
And in the movie, Marlon Brando is a middle-aged psychiatrist who is retiring next week. It's a week before his retirement. And he gets called on a case of which is Johnny Depp up on a billboard and they're going to jump. And he thinks he's schizophrenic, and he thinks he is Don Juan. So that's Don Juan DeMarco, because his name is DeMarco in the movie. So, and it's this story of this week, and which goes between the psychiatrist and Johnny Depp, who thinks he's this great lover, Don Juan. And in the process of the story and his history, as the psychiatrist, Brando, tries to save this kid from being put into long-term care because he sees something in him. The answers to all the questions are answered, but you really have to look at every aspect of the movie. And you see it for the first time, and okay, you pick up some of the stuff. Yeah. And then even on the second time, something will pop into your head and you say, oh, that sounds familiar. And then you made me see the movie again. And all of there's so much symbolism in that movie. Whoever, I don't know who wrote it. I'm gonna have to go investigate that. But it came up in a situation. I was working with some clients, and it came back to me again this morning, and something that somebody said, and oh, that's what the movie was trying to tell me. That's what that scene meant. I get it now. And it's about the masks, and it's about the different parts of who we are and how we have to integrate them. And Johnny Depp is the character, and he plays it so well. Is this frightened little kid. And he thinks he's this great lover. And it goes back into all of these horrible the sins of killing you think anyway, it's really, really good. And it's something that if you think about it and study it, the answers start coming back to you. It's really quite I'm going to suggest it to a friend of mine who does classes, because you could do a whole class, teach a psychology class based on moving, of how to use metaphors, and it's fantastic. And besides, who wouldn't want to watch Johnny Depp and Marlon Brando?
Yeah.
But Brando was actually at his best, and I thought it was really interesting too that they chose him, besides being a fantastic actor. But he hadn't heard from Marlon Brando for a long time. And here Marlon Brando is what, 350 pounds before he died, And in the movie, you know, even that is significant. But when you think about what it becomes to be being a doctor, a psychiatrist, you're taking on personalities. And did he take on all of these personalities, these aspects of his personality? The workaholic, the good doctor, the healer, all these things that the character is. Is that why he's 350 pounds? Because he didn't know how to let go of them?
Mhm.
So there's an eclipse coming up. Do you know about anything with that?
Well, yeah, that eclipse is intensifying
Mm.
everything right now. And I think that's why more people are feeling their emotions and these things are coming up. And, you know, that's why, you know, this client of mine contacted, you said this morning. And then I've got another client that just texted me and told me about, you know, they're having all these hard times with dreams and things that are coming up, and insomnia. And of course, you know, during our dream times, our sleep, we process a lot of our subconscious input. Doctors think that actually during our REM sleep is kind of like shutting your computer down for the night. It's when it starts sorting everything out and trying to file it, you know, and then it sees something that happened today. That triggers something that's in the file cabinet, the memory. And so that's what comes up in our dreams, and we process things that way. So there's a lot of stuff is coming up to people in their dreams. And it makes everything more intense than it was. And this year in general, because all of the planets are going forward, there aren't any major, it's my understanding, any major, except Mercury, you know, going back and forth. So everything is a straight shot. The energy is, everything's happening faster than most people is accustomed to it. Because when things go retrograde, it slows everything down. So you have a time to process. There isn't that processing time right now. It's happening, boom, consequences. You know, so even as we pull up things from our past, then we don't have the time to slowly get in touch with it. It's going to hit us in our face. This is, I was almost tempted. I had to catch myself from doing this because I was dealing with a client that says, has many addictions, and one of them is alcoholism, and who likes to use the euphemism of "I fell asleep in a chair." And I made some comment about what time they contacted me, and they said, "Oh, well, I fell asleep in a chair last night." And I started to say, it's time to deal with reality. No, you don't fall asleep in a chair. You pass out in the chair.
Mm.
But because if you don't deal with reality, you can't solve the problem.
Mm.
But that's not exactly the most caring way of taking care of something. So I have to catch myself because I want to go directly
Yeah.
to the problem. But that's not always the way to do it. So how's it affecting you guys' lives?
Oh my God, I don't know how I'm alive. I was happened to be taking a drink as you were talking about alcoholism, and hello, probably me. I wanted to.
I have to take a break, so I'll be back.
Okay,
She's been drinking all day. It's all right.
I've been drinking all day, but I got to take a break.
Okay.
Okay.
okay, bye. Yeah, no, what was I gonna? Sometimes I want to join AA just for social reasons, but now I have ACIM, so we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just to like, they seem so great.
Well, I was, they're drinking last night. I'm sitting there eating chocolate chip cookies, they're just distractions.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
distractions. That's all.
Yeah.
Keeps us away from dealing with the things, with the dragons.
I've been slaying dragons though. You'd be proud of me. I've been slaying dragons all week, but like you said, you are so on point. It's been just like freaking 19 million dragons a day. I'm like, I can't keep up. Like, give me some rain on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Jeez.
When is this eclipse supposed to happen?
2 weeks, I think, right? In 2 weeks,
Okay.
the eclipse, Sony?
I think it's the 25th. I think it's the 25th is the eclipse.
Oh, that's coming up.
Oh, why did I? It was the 6th or the 7th.
The 25th, so it's somewhere in there. But like anytime, anybody who works in an emergency room will tell you about the full moon. You know, everybody says, oh, you know, everything goes crazy on the full moon. No, it's the day before and the day after that gets crazy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's so as soon as, you know, this weekend, we're already starting to see the effects. It's building up. The energy is building up. And then that day that it eclipses, that's the turning point, and then, you know, and it spins around. So that's when it's, you know, it's like the eye of the hurricane. Think of the day itself like the eye of the hurricane.
That makes so much sense. Even like always right before Mercury retrograde, I find right before it is most intense. And even right like before my period, to be honest, is way more intense. I was just telling them it is Niagara Falls, World War III happening right now in my uterus. It is just everything at once between this eclipse and the freaking time of the month. I could not. But no, Sony, it's been nuts. I'm so glad you said this because it's been just so much processing. I'm like, oh my God, I could process for like two hours, but that's it. No, not even. I give myself like an hour. I give myself as much time as I can, but it's like, shit. I've been waking up. First of all, I get you on the insomnia. I've been waking up at like, I don't know, 1, not going back to sleep till 5, or waking up at 5 and being up and that's it. Or I'll be waking up dreams of things that I'm really pissed about that I didn't have time to deal with, you know? So then I have to deal with that, process that, you know? And it's not fun. It's not been fun. It's
No,
ridiculous.
I have learned when I get into one of those things, two things can happen to you too. Because, you know, if you're sensitive and you're psychic, you gotta remember you're also pulling up not only your own feelings, but often we are picking up other people's feelings, you know, and so we have to ask ourselves, you know, is this mine? And some nights I'm just picking up other people's feelings, and if I don't run away from it and identify it, then I can let go of it most of the time. And, you know, maybe just get up and read for 20-30 minutes or something and then go back to sleep. But you need to identify what is yours and what is somebody else's. And I don't think that you're very good at putting up the don't have the safeguards that many of my friends have. And I've taken, I think I'm getting down that I can learn how to do this. You know, some of us just are slower learners, but my good shaman friend, one friend's a wonderful shaman, and she sees, but she's a Capricorn, and she sees a radio, an old time radio, and so when she goes to work, she turns the radio on, and she turns the sound up or down.
Mhm.
That metaphor. And when she's finished with her clients, she turns the radio off, turns the volume down, and moves out of that space.
Mhm.
I've never, you know, been able to do that. So most of the people I know, they have some method
Mhm.
that they visualize, but I'm not visual,
Mhm.
in order to get themselves in and out. What helped me was Michael Kahn's thing that I told you guys about.
Matt Kahn?
Michael Kahn. If I
Oh,
have his
Michael Kahn.
linked, I will. It was the best $112 I spent, you know, for just getting two things out of it. But because this is something I personally noticed that I do. But he said, you know, it's focusing your intentions. So you see the camera and you're watching things and you see the things. So you take the lens, I think it's called the aperture, and you change the lens on the camera by twisting it. So
Mhm.
you can focus onto a small space with a lot of intensity, or you get the big panoramic
Oh, that's good.
view of things.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting better. I can kind of metaphorically see that camera, because that is what I do. The feelings causes pictures for me to see, and from the pictures I interpret the pictures
Mhm.
of what's going on. So now I can zoom that lens in and zoom it back out again, or even turn it, put the cap on it. So
Mhm.
it's getting better. So
Nice.
you got to find a method to be able to do that. But do you both know how to tell whether it's your feelings or somebody else's, right?
No, please tell us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, and then sometimes this is difficult because so many of us who've had traumas, which if you came in with a predisposition to be a psychic, to be sensitive, to be a healer, to be any of these things, this is a predisposition, okay? And then you feel this stuff, and so you don't know what to do with it. So what we end up, most of us end up doing is we disassociate. DID, dissociative disorder. And because of the feelings, we don't know what to do with them. We don't understand them.
Mm.
And so what we have to do now is get back and allow ourselves to feel the feelings. And when you get that feeling, like when I wake up in the morning and you're in between the two different worlds, do you find it's more intense in the morning? Think about if your sensitivities are then. But for me, when I'm coming back between the two worlds, I allow myself, I get these feelings. And so I say, okay, where do I feel them at? But you got to be in touch with your body. You got to allow yourself to feel that feeling. And then, is it inside of me? You know, and I go inside and I look around, or I don't look around, I feel around. Okay, I guess if you're visual, you would look around. And if it's inside of me, then that's my feeling, and it's something I have to deal with.
Mhm.
But if it's outside of me, if the feeling is around me, then I am picking up somebody else's energy.
Mm.
So that's something
Okay.
you want to practice, because you deal with it in different ways.
See, I don't know though, because something when I was younger, I knew I would like now I know looking back I was an empath because if someone I loved would talk about, oh, I had pain here, I would feel it, like literally feel that pain in my own body. I would be like, oh God.
Yeah.
So see, in that case, it would be in my body, but I would know it's not mine.
Okay. Yes, I can feel it I know it's their pain that I feel in my body.
See, I don't know how I would.
Okay, so that's what you want to start to do, because you already you know how to do it, because you just told me you can distinguish that my friend is in pain, and I know it's not my pain.
Right, what's theirs and what's hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because at the time I asked, why do I feel so much pain? And she said, oh, because you feel sorry for me or something. And I was like, oh, okay.
Ask the question of yourself.
Uh-huh.
Why? You have to, it's always in the questions. When you feel this pain, you can. You can. Here's an exercise. The next time you go to the store, or you're out and you're looking around, do this for a week. And ask yourself, how do I know I like this?
I don't like
Like a particular, like raisins or something?
Anything, yeah. Why do I like when I eat this food? How do I know? How do I sense I like this?
taste good
How do you know it tastes good?
because my neurotransmitters go crazy if I eat chocolate. It's like, yeah.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
there's something that tells us when you look at a dress. How do you know you like that dress, or
Well,
you don't like it?
sometimes
Where
we
do you
think
feel it at?
and then we put it on and then we don't like it.
Well, I think with the food, we go off of past experiences with that particular item
Huh.
and the senses that come forth with it, right?
But well, you can have, yes, you can have, if you had a bad experience with it. One time I got rancid peanut butter, and I couldn't eat peanut butter for years, because I could remember that
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it because I remembered how it made me sick.
Right.
So it was the feeling that it gave me of being sick that told me I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But in your body speaks to you all the time. So that's an exercise you have to get back in to get back in touch with your body. Is, how do I know I like the tree? I love that tree out there. I'm looking at it right now.
I know. We were just talking about trees before you came on.
Yeah. And so the tree, I look at the tree and then I allow myself, how does it make me feel?
Nice.
It gives me a sense of security. I can feel it in my chest.
With its mouth.
Yeah, no, because you've been told for so long
Yeah.
not to trust your feelings. All of us that were traumatized, we were told, don't trust your feelings. This person is supposed to be my protector. They're hurting me.
Mm.
I can't protect, I can't be angry with them. I can't feel this, I can't do that. It's not safe if I do. So we cut off from the feeling. We got to get back in touch with the feeling. It just takes exercise. Just takes exercise.
But see, sometimes also, like our feelings could be paradigms. You know what I mean? They could be unconscious beliefs formed in childhood too that might be limiting us, you know?
Well, you got to become aware of them. How are you going to become aware of them if you don't ask why?
Yes. Yes, true.
Yeah, Christina, it's
You
just
know,
you gotta be aware of
yeah,
what-
it's really much simpler than we want to make it. But we've been shut down for so long and said, don't question. This
Yes.
is authority. You do not question authority. And then we do. And when you're 2 years old or 3 years old, how do you question authority?
I know.
You don't. You just suck everything in. You just take everything in. You're just a sponge. And that's what life is about, actually, is going back and questioning all of that information. Does it work? And that's what the Course is telling you. Is this real?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what the Course is asking us, is this real?
Mm-hmm.
It's a memory. It was real at one time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not working now.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's not working now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be able to identify what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And that's scary.
Oh, I know. It's been hard. It's been hard. What I've been doing lately is the Michael Singer approach. You guys know Michael Singer?
Mhm.
I know the name. I don't know what
He has a YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him on YouTube.
Yeah, he wrote The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Life. And he basically explains you just have to like let yourself feel it and just let it come up and just relax as it comes up, relax, breathe, relax, say that you can feel it, you can, and allow it to come up while you're steady, kind of meditative state, but like you let it come up and eventually it leaves your body. But because we're so busy being like, I can't, like we unconsciously think I can't, like I can't handle this feeling, you know, and then but so I go through that. That's one of the processes that I do among many others to try to face things.
that's a somatic reconnection. Those exercises is doing somatic, what they call somatic work, getting you back in touch, learning that those feelings are not going to overwhelm you. You know, that's what we're afraid of.
Yeah.
Is that. And some of that is this lifetime, and some of it is past lifetimes. Because, well, that's a little harder to explain. The first thing you have to do is get back in touch with your feelings. I strongly suggest that you invest, about $15 in getting Dick Schwartz's audio version of There Are No Bad Parts.
Mm.
Instead of getting the book, I suggest the audio, because in the audio, he actually walks you through about 4 sessions of dealing with how to get in touch with your own parts and how to release them and set them free.
Mhm.
And it's a really, really good exercise when you learn how to do this interfamily systems,
Mm.
because that's what the conflicts are.
Mhm.
And it's great to be in touch with your body and do the somatic work. You know, you got to do all these little different things, and you question it. It brings up the pictures, but you're not going to bring up any really pivotal stuff until those parts of you don't feel like they're going to be overwhelmed. That's what we're stuffing down.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Schwartz shows you how to talk to your parts, all those conflicting parts. I've got another client I got back to that was having that problem. He shows you how to make that, to talk to those parts of us, and the protectors. That's what the distractions are. That's what the me eating cookies, or my alcoholic friend, drinking himself into a stupor every night. Those are just protectors trying to keep us away from that frightening part that's going to overwhelm. So Schwartz does that. He gives you the tool how to do that. And like I say, it's well worth the $15. What are you paying a therapist? 100 and, I think they're going for $175 an hour now.
What
You get 6 hours, it's $150 an hour, and it'd probably take you at least 4 or 5 different sessions to do that, working with an IFS therapist, if not more. So $15.
Okay, Schwartz, you said?
Yeah, Dick Schwartz. He's also up on YouTube.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, and he practices. There's at least a dozen podcasts up on YouTube where he explains IFS, and he does some work with the podcasters. Takes you through actual doing some therapies, which a couple of them. One was really interesting with a woman. She was so full of shit. I'm sitting there listening to her. She's lying to you, Nick. She's lying to you. I think he figured that out too, but there was a lot more involved. She was so full of herself.
Ah.
But yeah, so the answers are out there. The answers are out there in so many different ways, but there's no one answer. It takes we're complicated people, and there's lots of parts to us. But we keep working at it. We'll get it eventually.
Hopefully.
Did you?
Oh no, I made this vow. I think it was 20, maybe 20 years old, when I figured out how really, I just washed my hair, how really effed up my family was, really, really sick. And I had my first child. The first child when I was 18, 19.
Mostly comes to light after your first child.
Yeah. And so I said, I remember vividly, the shit's going to stop with me.
Nice.
But those vows that we make are very important because they're pivotal in how we lead our lives. And yeah, I can't stop searching for these answers, because I'm not coming in with this crap the next lifetime.
For sure. I get that. Yeah, I think each generation breaks patterns to some degree or another, and advances the collective to different, you know what I mean?
Christina, I just find it really interesting that you have one drink on your left side that is wine and another one on your right that is tea.
Well,
And you go back and forth.
I always roll at least 3 deep because I also have my water. Um,
Oh, your water.
but what it is all week I'm allowed to drink this and decaf green tea. But then finally on Saturdays, usually just when my partner wakes up, but now you guys are here keeping me company, I let myself drink alcohol and
Okay.
caffeine to balance that out.
So there's a part of you that restricts you during the week. It tells you that you're a bad girl, that you want to do these other things, but then this other part is allowed to come out on the weekend. And you can have your caffeine and you can drink your alcohol.
And bottoms up.
Bottoms up. So you have a conflict.
All week I showed
Part of you.
Conflicts aren't real.
yeah, nothing's real, remember? No, I was just kidding.
Who the hell said that?
Of course, miracle.
Well, you guys got to stop believing all this stuff that is without questioning it. Because somebody says the Course in Miracles says this, that doesn't mean that they're interpreting it on the level.
Oh, thank
Christina,
God.
how many days a week are you
Huh?
with A Course in Miracles?
I'm with A Course in Miracles. Well, it was Monday night to sometimes Saturday mornings, but I dropped the Saturday morning since 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 thank God you said what you said, Sony, because when they told me angels and stuff weren't real, I was like, I've never been the same. I've never been the same.
Give them authority.
What?
Course doesn't say that.
I know they tried telling me that. I just they tried the course they tried to say in the course that said that all that's real is that we're all big part of one sonship, and then
We are. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, but then they said that, so that means that whenever I talk to my mom who's passed on, it's not like she's like basically, I don't know, they were saying angels aren't real, people that pass on aren't real, we're not real. So it was like hard to I'm cool with us not being real and this illusion not being real, but when I heard angels aren't real and people that are passed on that I speak with aren't real, it messed me up, and now I drink.
Sony takes a break.
Oh, did she?
She took a deep breath.
Okay, now I understand. I totally understand. On one dimension, right, they aren't part of this dimension.
Mhm.
There's more than one dimension. My Father's house has many mansions.
Mhm.
Jesus said that. Okay, my Father's house has many mansions. What does that mean?
Yeah.
It has many dimensions. There's different places that you can go to and live. What does a house represent? What does your home represent?
Mm.
You have to question everything
Mhm.
to understand. There is a part, I had the good fortune of being in a Al-Anon class with a professor who was a minister. I think he was Methodist. I'm not sure. It wasn't. It was one of those, really traditional belief systems. And he was a teacher there at Appalachian State University, and he taught history, and he could speak. I think the language, it's not Aramaic. Carolyn will know. But the language that was the dialect or language that was spoken when Jesus walked the earth. And so, the books were written in this old language, which the Bible today is St. James Version. And the part where Jesus is on the cross and he says that, God forgive them for they know not what they do, and that he's dying, for their sins. Well, this teacher who translated books from the old Aramaic, I'm going to use the word Aramaic, I'm not sure that's language, from Aramaic into English, he said, if you look at that statement and that word that they used, he told me what it was, I can't pronounce it. It's a preposition. So take just like you would say, you can say somebody did something because, or they did it for. Think of the fine tuning between the words because and for. Jesus died because of our sins, not for them, is what he's saying. Because of man's hunger for power. If you go and study, I think it's Taylor Caldwell, Jesus, my brother, Judas, my brother, you will see that Judas did not turn Christ in for the money. He didn't need the money. Judas was a wealthy man. His family was wealthy. What he wanted was Christ to perform a miracle. He wanted the Romans out. And so he thought that, you know, Jesus would just call up a miracle at the last minute and save himself.
Mm.
That's it. So it was Judas's ignorance that caused the issue.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't die to save the rest of us. We're the only ones that can save ourselves. He's just the guide.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus's life is our guide, but we still have to experience it and go for it. So, no, we got to walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
So even the Bible itself is how you interpret it. So when the guy said, no, the people that are gone, our bodies are gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our spirit never dies.
That's what I thought too. That's why Easter was always my favorite holiday because
Yeah, the resurrection.
yeah, because I'm like, oh, that's when he really got to feel better. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
or you know,
The body dies, it loses its functioning, but the spirit doesn't die. It just transcends. It turns into something else. You know, the tree dies, it decays, it becomes fertilizer, becomes energy for something else. Isn't that what spring is?
I God, hope not. I'm friends with trees, but I get you. I get you. Like that's what I always thought, and that's what I always. I trust me. I was just telling them how much it's literally the blood that runs through me. These angel experiences. It's why I'm here to connect people to that. And so when that was told to me, it was like the closest I felt to a breakdown in 18 years. It was just devastating. So I'm still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
What's the lesson?
Well, I'm hoping it's,
Ask yourself, what is the lesson this experience with them tried to teach me?
I could do that and I've done it, but also at the same time when I try to do it, it's still trying to figure it out. So it's still trying to figure out like when I was in the class with them, I asked them, can it all be true? Can't we all be one on top? Then also our spirits in heaven.
What was what was the lesson that the experience tried to teach you? The bigger lesson.
I'm not sure because I haven't figured out.
You didn't trust yourself.
I did get that. I did get that.
You know, on some level, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there? Now feel yourself, go inside of yourself and feel yourself and say, do I know this to be true? The spirit doesn't die.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Where do you feel it?
My stomach.
Well, and one of the things I think is, why did you let it, or why are you letting it affect you
I
so much?
I think it's a course, like I said, a Course in Miracles resonated so deeply in my bones that I went into it with a blank slate, a real blank slate, willing to learn, knowing I don't know everything,
Right, but understand, Christina, it says,
You want a magic. You want a quick answer.
no, it says, let's see, where was it? I was just reading it. That, where's it? There's no need to suffer anymore. Be healed that you may heal. to rise above it, basically.
How do you do that? The
I
book tells you the answers. It doesn't always tell you how to do it.
What, Sony?
The book tells you the answers. It doesn't always tell you how to do it. You have to experience the answers because God gave us free will in order to make it ours. Think about when you take in food. What do you do with food?
You digest it.
You digest it. You take the parts that are healthy and stuff, and that you put that into part of your body, doesn't it? It becomes your new cells. You get rid of the stuff that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that's how we know. We know inside of us that is part of us. And that's what this life is about.
I wasn't sure if I was ignoring the truth. You know what I mean?
No, tell me.
Oh, I wasn't sure if they were what they were saying is true, and then I'm not. You know what I mean? That's what was holding me up. If what they're saying is true, then I can't just take my little angel hobby, and go on with my life helping people with the angels when it's like, if what they're saying is true, that's not even true. That's what was freaking me out. And I was trying to find peace in them being true just in case, because I didn't like being that affected by anything, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. And because I know they didn't have ill intentions, the course teaches us that no one really has ill intentions. I know they weren't coming from a bad place. And
They
even
were giving you their understanding.
yeah, they were kept pointing to the book saying it was the course.
It's their understanding of the course.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's true too. Because
And
I thought they could be right, and what I know could be right. I thought it all could be right.
it can, and in different situations and at different times. Yes. If you're hearing voices that are outside of you that are telling you to do harmful things,
Right.
this is schizophrenia.
Right.
Okay. But the spirits and the souls will never advise us to harm anybody or harm ourselves. And we usually hear those voices internally, not externally.
Right. Exactly. That's true.
Yeah. So, but the lesson from this, the big lesson from this is I have to question what authority tells me. And maybe it's right, and maybe it's not right. It's not appropriate for this particular circumstances.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's a difference between evaluating and judging.
Okay. And that's exactly it. Is normally I would have my discernment, but due to it being a Course in Miracles, I was such a malleable creature in A Course in Miracles. But yeah. Yeah.
The Course in Miracles is not a substitute for, it's a guide.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a guide.
Uh-huh.
It's not the answer, it's a guide.
Mm.
There is no black and white answers, except, learning not to judge
Mm-hmm.
and giving love. That's the two principles. But how you apply those, that's what we have to personally experience. So I can't tell you what my experience, how I see something when I was 20 years old and how I can see something that I'm 81 years old is totally different.
Yeah. Oh, totally true. And it's interesting.
Because of the sum total of your experience, what you've learned in between. So all that anybody can tell you is their experience.
Oh yeah. So it's interesting because that's what I was shown, Erica, when I touched the tree too. That's what I was trying to convey to you guys before Sony got on, is when I touched the tree, I got a blossoming of information, and that's what I was trying to convey. That one part is everybody's from their experience kind of thing. And then what's interesting is then I was listening to a tarot reading later on that week, and it said the exact same stuff. So it's really interesting. And you know, guys, even I don't know if you guys heard of Robert Perry, who is a teacher of Course in Miracles and like kind of runs Circle of Atonement. But even he said, I even heard him say, because I listened to a lot of his conversations, there's something about the mythology of Course that he was speaking to another teacher about it, and he was like, yeah, I don't know if I agree with the mythology of the Course. Meanwhile, he, you know, he was close with Ken Wapnick. He was close with a lot of the teachers of the Course, so like the original people. So that made me feel better. I literally woke up just to hear that one night because it just happened to be playing on my phone, and I thought, I know whenever I wake up and hear something, I'm supposed to hear it, you know. So that made me feel a little better, kind of like how people can follow the Bible, but maybe Adam and Eve isn't like a literal story, or maybe whoever wrote in the Bible, it's like maybe most of that's right, but maybe like some of it's lost in translation or how they up for interpretation, like you said, you know.
Oh, definitely. If you read the history of the Bible, yeah, definitely. And all the influences of the times that were around that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's they're metaphors.
And
They're
it's interesting because even when I was 22 turning 23 and I had awakening, but later looking like a breakdown, but it was really an awakening, you know, very fine line, but basically I said during that time, you know, why it came to me, why were there prophets back then? Why were there prophets back then, but not now? Why would it just stop like 20 million years ago? Why would it just stop? And I said, I think we need a third testament. Why not? And now it's so funny because it's like 18 years later, A Course in Miracles finds me, but I feel like that's
there
interesting.
are if Jesus came to now appeared, everybody would say he's schizophrenic, and they put him in a madhouse.
No, I feel so bad.
Look at the way he dressed. You know, he was homeless practically half the time. He was a wanderer on the streets. I've seen the guy up at, at the shelter. Think about it. Would
Mm-hmm.
you recognize him
Mm-hmm.
if you saw him?
Like that song.
No. So what you do is you question everybody. And what you're talking about, same thing is Melody Beattie and who's a really great guy? Awaken the Giant Within Us. Tony Williams, Anthony Williams, big guy.
Oh, Robbins.
Huh? Robbins. I want to call him Williams. Robbins. You look at him. This is wow, a powerful teacher, powerful man. ADD, OCD, lived under a bridge at one time. Yeah, lived under a bridge.
Like a lawn gnome?
Hmm?
Like a giant lawn gnome? He lived under a bridge?
He was homeless for a while.
Tony Robbins? He's so big to be homeless. He's so big.
Yeah, he is.
Under a bridge. Did he hold up the bridge? My God.
Well, but I mean, you don't think about those things. Every time we see somebody who seems to be put together, things are not. Then that's what the Course is telling us. Things are not as they always appear.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to question everything. That's what the Course is telling us. We have to question our beliefs.
You know what's interesting? Recently, have you guys heard of Jay Shetty?
No.
Okay. So basically there's a few people out there that are self-help, whatever, right? And as you guys know, I'm really good at liking people. Like I'm really good at liking people genuinely, but there were a few people out in the self-help industry never resonated with me. I didn't want to go near it. It was like the information was too basic. I was like, maybe this is for someone else. I don't know. It felt like a lot of marketing about nothing. Okay. All those people since then have been exposed as frauds to some degree. And I don't want to down anyone, but basically they lied about a lot of things. And I agree. I'm not saying anyone who ever lied is a bad person, but it's interesting because sometimes our instincts, like Sony's saying, it's like pay attention, you know. Um, Sometimes our instincts are spot on, and it's not from a a, a, a limiting belief. Because what happens is my instincts are spot on a lot, but I'll be like, oh, I'm judging. I don't want to judge. Let me remove that and go into this with a clean slate, and then it's always right. It's always right.
But that's the difference between evaluating and judging. If you judge, then there must be punishment. Evaluation causes a correction.
Yeah. Hey, remember the meeting Tuesday? Remember Tuesday's meeting?
Yeah.
Do you remember why Igor was apologizing to Eugene?
Eugene,
Yeah. Why was he apologizing?
because Eugene is Ukrainian.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I said, Eugene, where are you from? And he said Toronto.
But he said later on he was from the Ukraine. He moved to, obviously that is not a Canadian accent.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay, I assumed he was Ukrainian, and then when I was trying to fish it out later, I was like, oh, where are you coming from, Eugene? He was like Toronto, and so Erica, just so you know, we have a new one in the group named Igor. He's
Right.
from Russia, and he's so cute and polite, and he out of nowhere, I think I came late or something, I don't know, but he's like, Eugene, you're such a big man to be here. So much strength to still be on despite me being here, blah, blah, blah. And Eugene's like, go F yourself or something. He didn't say it, but his vibe, he didn't even look up. And I was like, is Eugene
Well, they're
from?
mortal enemies. The Ukrainians and the Russians are mortal enemies, right?
What's even worse? So in the chat, so Igor's chatting with me. And I said, how do you feel about Putin getting reelected? Supposedly he won by a long shot. And he was like, oh, there's no election here. And I was like, I didn't think so. And then I told my boyfriend about this, and he was like, they're not supposed to talk about that. Now he's in danger, okay, because of you, Christina. And I was like,
Public forum.
God, what?
This is, I would never ask those questions in this kind of forum.
It was just a private DM, but yeah.
Doesn't make any difference.
Ah,
For future reference.
okay.
For future reference. I don't know how, encrypted his stuff is, but I have friends that are in the government that does this kind of stuff, and he tells me there's things you don't want to know. Okay, so I would be very, very careful. And you notice that Igor and Eugene didn't go very farther into that conversation.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, because I felt so bad. I'm like, it's neither their fault. Like they could probably be the best of friends. I just hate that. I hate when politics messes up with people,
How do we learn to forgive?
See the truth in people.
Got to practice it.
I'm gonna be like, Eugene, you gotta forgive. No, I'm not.
No, but I mean, that's why we have to experience these things.
What happened with Catherine?
Somebody came, obviously somebody came into her house. I could see her earlier, it was going like this. So
Oh.
she had to leave.
Oh, good.
So you can see somebody entered, came into the house.
Well,
Okay.
welcomed
Or
guest.
came on, I don't know how, but I could see her waving at somebody. But
Hopefully it's a welcomed guest and we didn't endanger her either.
yeah, but so he,
Okay.
I was talking to Rick about this too.
Oh, Rick, he should have came.
Yeah,
He wasn't there?
He was there, but he should
no, I realized, I just was so overwhelmed with, the how wonderful it was to be able to talk to somebody who was actually in Siberia, and it was another day. It's Tuesday to us, but it was Wednesday to him. Just all of that was just, really fantastic as far as,
Yeah.
Wait, who's from Siberia?
huh?
Which one's from Siberia?
Igor.
Oh, is he? Is Siberia?
He's physically, he hasn't come from, he's physically in Siberia.
Siberia's in Russia?
Yes.
So my dad would kill me right now. He was a history, philosophy graduate student professor who wrote a book that graduate students were required to buy. He would have slaughtered me at age 2 for not knowing that. I'm just letting you know. I'm good at the philosophy part, but before that, I didn't think we were related at all. At all.
Yeah, now if you take me to the Middle East or something like that, I'm lost, but some of those places in Europe, I know, so that's okay. But no, he is literally in Siberia, and which is, think about it, that's a miracle. That is actually a miracle, because that when I was your age, that couldn't happen. We didn't have cell phones even.
I just feel so bad though, because now I'm thinking back and I'm IMing him and I'm like, is it scary over there? Oh my God, I feel so bad.
Yeah. It's real scary.
No, but apparently I'm not supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, but so those are the miracles, is these realizations that we have, these people that we meet, those are the miracles. The miracle is every time I can change my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. It's so.
Yeah. Oh, Erica, if you could hear us, sorry, I just saw your text. We're gonna wrap up soon. I'm just waiting for my partner to wake up. I don't know if she can hear us.
Got something to do at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I got clients at 6 too. But yeah, and the reason that you want to really work at questioning all of things. Did I send you my resource page paper that I'll send it to you? That I put together for some of my clients, of some things that you might want to look at, some of these different people. And I keep, stressing this with Rick, yeah, it's the big R and the little r. We're still in this dimension. We are physically in this body. We are experiencing this story. If we weren't supposed to experience this story, we wouldn't be here. So you can't just sit there and tell people, oh, you're in your head. What? There was only, a couple of one Plato, one Socrates. I'm not on that level. Let's get it down to where we're all working at. I can do both. I can walk in both worlds.
Yeah.
And so some of these people, what some of these people are looking for is the elixir. They find religion, and they're using the Course in Miracles as another form of religion. And whatever the Bible says, which is the book, it has to be true. But it's just like the Bible. How do you interpret the Bible?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that the Bible's wrong, and I'm not a Christian, and I see all of the wisdom in the Bible, but you have to look beyond the surface. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
So you have to trust yourself. You have to learn to trust yourself. You have gifts.
Thank you. Thank you.
But our gifts are not, and that's why there's so many different writers and teachers. You can't give to the student until he's ready. So it doesn't make somebody else wrong in what they're saying. They appeal to a certain group of people who are ready to hear this much of the message. Okay. I can't sit down and talk to Plato or Socrates. I'm not, I can get up there with some of the, guys, but no, I don't have that ability. But that doesn't make me not useful.
I bet you do have that ability. It's just maybe you're just like, oh, I don't feel like it.
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't.
I feel like you can.
I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have to be me.
There you go. That's it. If you wanted to, you could. If you wanted to.
No, I can't. I have limited potential, We all do in this lifetime. And that's accepting reality. And that's accepting what our bodies are and the capacity of our brains. In this lifetime, we all have limiting potential. What we want to do is work to being up to the highest of our potential.
Mhm.
I couldn't be Einstein. I couldn't, no matter how hard I tried, not in this lifetime. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's your perfectionism coming in.
No, I just like to encourage people that whatever they want, they could have if they wanted it.
But that's not necessarily true. Well,
That's okay.
I don't lead people on to things that are not realistic.
I hear your love in that. It's fine. By the way, always pass this on to oh my God, is it Phil coming in? Is it Phil coming in behind you? Okay. Good, thank God.
Yeah.
Always pass this on to Rick too. I don't have his email to pass on the soul bar link or whatever. If you have his email.
I only have his text.
Okay.
You can text him.
Yeah, next time. I didn't have it this time.
Okay. I asked him for it. I think he said, I think he put it up there. I think he said anybody could text him.
It's still,
I have Rick's email.
okay, you can pass it to me if it's okay, Sony. If
Sure.
I think so, because I think I remember the class before last when somebody asked if they could talk to him. They had some questions, and he said anybody could could do that. So I don't, and I would certainly use that discretion. I don't text him often, but just when I want to, show him something.
Is Phil your dog single? Because Muffin's going to be wearing this for Easter, and I think that
I think Phil's a little big in size for her, right?
like me and my boyfriend. My boyfriend is like 6'4", and I'm like 5'2".
Oh,
5'3" on a positive day.
Compact.
Yes,
with heels,
good
with
stuff.
heels.
Yeah,
I'm mobile. What?
5'2" with heels.
yeah.
What? Oh, it's well. I wish I was that healed to
Do
wear
you have? Does anybody have Dorothea's address?
address. Oh, you mean Gmail or whatever?
Yeah, so I had it. I was, and suddenly it started getting kicked back
Oh.
when I would send her something.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully she'll show up again. You know what that might be actually? Is that Gmail? Is it a Gmail? Gmail recently did a thing that inconvenienced the world where all of a sudden you have to delete a lot of email in order to continue to get email on the Gmail. I had to delete like 40.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it took me a half an hour to go in there and clear that out.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
So
it took me days.
yeah, exactly. So that might be what's going on. By the way, I was telling them, Sony, remember when our friend Fatuma was missing? I wrote her an email and I told her I was thanking her so much. She had her input on something for me, and I was thanking her and I was telling her how much she means to all of us. And I think it was well received because then she showed back up, which was awesome. And that same night, you guys told her almost everything I already told her in the email, which was how valued she is. How I told her she should have her own show, really. And so I think I did send it to her, but she's a very great spirit. She's a great, she's amazing. When I used to be like Fatuma, I was always told like, yeah, okay, like, okay, we gotta, you know what I mean? So my light dimmed pretty quick. Or the only other time I was like her, I had a breakdown or awakening. So I admire that she could still be like that in this world that this real world we're in that just seems, aside from us, just seems very like, beating in what they think. So I like that her light shines so brightly still, and she could still be grounded and deliver the message so eloquently.
I think she understands the course well.
Mhm.
And she's probably maybe in the equivalent of her first year of college. If you were going to say that, the course, and the course doesn't mean that you're supposed to be taking this forever, it's not the intention of the course. If you read more of the other parts of the book, it's something that you apply to your life. You don't keep studying this course over and over again. You need to learn how to apply the principles of it. And I think, Rick is probably up there, in his master's degree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Really.
Of where the teachers are at,
Mhm.
because he's moved on to more than just the course. If you go to his website, it's the mastery, it's the other things. He doesn't depend just on the course for his spiritual life. There's more to it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Erica, did you have any questions regarding A Course in Miracles?
No, I do not.
I'm
But
surprised
thank you for asking.
some amazing questions. You always ask amazing. I always want to tune in for your questions.
Yeah, I don't have any right now, actually, but if I do, I'll be sure and bring them up.
They know
I'm sure I will.
yeah, when I first started, that's all I was doing was asking questions. And then I felt like I reached my quota on that. So I try to be.
Did you guys read the part on the section on psychotherapy?
In the teacher's manual?
Mhm.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm still reading the text, but I've read parts of the teacher's manual.
You might want to read that part too. It's not that long. I read it in, I don't know, an hour or two. But it
And I'm
teaches,
doing the lessons too, so
I don't know where it's in the book, but it's easier, actually it's easier to find online. Then I can find some of those things in the book. But this wasn't meant to be therapy. It's a guide,
Okay.
just a guide. So don't let other people well, okay. Bob's been doing the Course in Miracles for how long?
I don't know how
He
many.
hasn't learned it. He doesn't understand it.
He doesn't. He seems. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He just says quotes from the book. I don't know if he ever says anything. Well, I don't know. Did I just assume he understood it?
Yeah. Because of his age and his authority. But Bob will tell you, and Rick the other in a time, he is so he is so judgmental. He's so indoctrinated by the church that he grew up in. He's older than I am. And he doesn't, he thinks he's supposed to teach other people love. He doesn't understand this is an internal thing that we do. This is not about other people. It's about us. And his father, can't you see his father when he talks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can hear his father chastising him. He talks about that belt. Okay, you were hit by a belt. Lots of people were hit by belts.
It's really advanced, Sony, because a lot of people, they just are ingrained in their stories from when they were young. And I get it, but you're very advanced because you know how to know that you had a story and you know what to do with it,
How do you think I know that?
because you wanted to. Some people want to stay where they are.
Because I do the work.
Yeah.
Because I questioned everything. And that's the only gift that I can give to any of you is learn to question the beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was worse than them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So question the beliefs. That's the answer. That's what the book is telling you. Question your beliefs, including what the book is telling you.
All right. On
Yeah.
that note, I'm going to wrap this up. And then if you guys want to stay after I hit done record, I want to thank you guys afterwards. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
thank you, Christina.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to thank you more when I'm done recording. Um, so, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you got something out of this. Hang with us next time. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. And also, um, always make room for miracles. Bye.
Bye. Hey.